Good evening, NorCal Carters. This is Jason, and we have a special edition of this podcast. And this one's going to highlight the TrackMagic Owners group. And tonight's guest is Bob Iriks. How are you doing, Bob?
Doing good, sir. Thanks for having me on tonight.
I'm going to have to ask you, did I pronounce your last name right?
Yes, sir. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, that one, and we get a lot of weird, interpretations, but Iriks is correct. It comes from a Dutch version of Iriks.
All right. So I got one thing right so far. And thank you for joining us tonight. And for those of you that may have missed the intro, this podcast is a special podcast highlighting the TrackMagic Owners Group Fall BBQ and Track Days at the BlueMax Kart Club. And that event is taking place September 28th and September 29th, again in Davis, California at the BlueMax Kart Club. And Bob, again, thanks for coming on tonight. And let's get right into it. Why are you doing this?
Well, it comes from a kind of a long, short story. We launched this barbecue idea with Josh Garwood and Jonathan Pinton a couple years ago, and it was mostly a way to bring out your 20-year-old go-kart and have some fun with it. Racing's constantly evolving, and some of this old junk just gets swept aside. Well, we want to create something where you could bring out that old go-kart and still have some fun with it,
I think it was a great idea. And I went to the one you did a couple months ago at BlueMax, and I keep raving about it. But it was just such a fun event, seeing all these old karts out there. A lot of familiar faces for someone like me that's been around for a little while. And you can explain, I think his name is Don. He had about 7 or 8 TrackMagics. They look like Don. They all came off the showroom floor.
Yeah, Don put a lot of energy into collecting the TrackMagic, particularly the TrackMagic brand, because, they're almost extinct these days and getting hard to find. Don took a little bit of home team pride and started collecting them, searching the internet, through help with friends and stuff like that. And he has space and the time to put together some of these old gems.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie. When I first heard about it, I kind of had a preconceived notion in my head of the type of karts I would see on the track. And when I showed up and started walking around, there were definitely some karts out there that just got dragged out of storage. And then like Don's karts, your kart, Damon Meek's kart, you look at those karts and they were just beautifully maintained.
Yeah, it was a golden period in karting. We're going back 20 years here. All the stuff that we were bringing out there is, old enough to kick out of the house, right?
Yep.
And we hung on to it because of a passion factor, And when it comes to letting your old go-kart go, it's with some karts it's easy, with some karts it's not. Particularly with the CTS brand, the TrackMagic brand, they aren't manufactured anymore. So when you come across, a TrackMagic or a CTS or something, or even an EMIC, you want to preserve those now. It's switched gears. And that's the neat part about these barbecue events. It gives you a place to go celebrate it, outside of your garage.
Yeah, I think that classifies us technically as vintage. That's kind of a hard pill to swallow.
I know. It's just kissing vintage, and without VKA or a big agency to host an event, we had to come up with these, little barbecue meets and stuff like that where somebody can come out and have a good time with their old, 20-year-old cart.
Yeah, it was a great time. I really enjoyed myself, and it was really neat to see, these carts back on the track, and again, some old faces I haven't seen in a while. And I was blown away by how many people showed up and put their carts on the track and drove. And it kind of just re-inspired me in my NorCal Carters project to focus and help promote those kind of events, because that's another way we could use these one-off non-racing events to get people into the
Yes.
sport of karting and have a good time.
Yeah, it brings together the people who are entering the sport, the people who have been in the sport. We got the new carts, they show up, and we got the old carts, they show up, and everybody just, go out and jam some laps. They learn from each other. And, it's good. The barbecues are a good way to keep promoting and getting people together and just having fun, bringing back the real deal, the fun factor.
Yeah, and I know it wasn't really promoted as like a swap meet or a sale type event, but I do know of a couple of good deals that happened that day, and there's a couple new happy owners out there.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
hopefully
We
they got those
enforce
carts
that.
cleaned up and they're going to be out for this event.
Yeah, let's bring everybody together and check it out. There's a lot of spare parts out there that can still be used, to collaborate with, the new stuff, and just keep the ball moving forward.
Absolutely. And so for those of you listening, I'll post a link to Bob's Facebook page, and it's the TrackMagic Owners group. So I'll post a link from NorCal Carters to the TrackMagic Owners group so you can kind of keep in touch. Again, this event is going to be September 28th and 29th at BlueMax Kart Club in Davis. And it's called the TrackMagic Owners Group Fall BBQ, but it's open to racers. Come on out, have a good time, bring a good attitude. Bob, you mentioned the CTS brand, you mentioned the EMIC brand. Bring them out. Enjoy the event. So now, we're calling it a barbecue. Is it also a potluck? Are people going to be bringing their own food?
Everybody's welcome. If you want to bring something, if you have a nice recipe and want to bring it out for somebody to sample, now's your time. And it really is a potluck. And, fortunately we have Gorilla, Rich Bakke.
Yep, Big Rich will be there.
He's bringing the goods. And come on out and taste test some of his California barbecue. If you want to bring something to share too, it's totally open. There's no fee. There's no price. It's just come out and celebrate some good times at the go-kart track.
Now it sounds like you've made some arrangements with BlueMax to allow for camping at the track.
Yeah, fortunately, Jordan has helped us out a lot, and because we have a lot of people coming in from out of state, and we just enjoy the good old-fashioned feel of a weekend at the track without the race pressure.
Yeah.
And this one really, really, really worked out good. Can't thank Jordan enough.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said earlier, I had a great time at the first one. I'll be out for this one as well on the Sunday. So I'll be out there on the 29th to check things out. You already mentioned there's no cost. So the only track, there might be a track fee associated with practice if you go onto the racing surface.
Yes, please check the BlueMax site for non-members or members to drive on the track, but to come and check it out is totally open.
Yep. And so for those of you that are not familiar with BlueMax, right down the street there's a little shopping center. There's a Rite Aid. There's a Nugget Market. So they sell food and beverages that you can bring out and share with people or fill up your ice chest. And again, it's going to be a barbecue potluck. We already mentioned Gorilla Barbecue, which is located in Pacifica, and the owner, Big Rich, will be on hand, so that'll be good. And you mentioned earlier that Gary-Carlton GFC Racing will be out there as well.
We are blessed to have Gary with us. This is going to be a gathering of all of the original TrackMagic drivers, crew, staff at the factory. It's a really special occasion for TrackMagic.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that the LaPoint family, they confirmed?
Yes, the LaPoint family will be in attendance. They are planning on showing up on Friday, as far as I know.
Okay.
And we will have a big TrackMagic display of classic championship karts, customer karts, and it's just expanding the celebration of the TrackMagic name.
Yeah, TrackMagic Owners Group. And then you have Landon Yee confirmed?
It looks like he's going to make it. I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and Oliver Rowen?
Yes, sir.
I kind of threw Kyle Martin down on the list. Was he confirmed?
I believe Kyle is coming with, he'll be with Rich. They were super tight in the team.
Yep. And for those of you that are in the motorcycle world and you've heard of M4 exhaust products, that's Kyle Martin and his family, family-run business. And they've been around karting for a long time. So it'd be good to see Kyle again. Are you going to have George Barros out?
I believe George is scheduled to come.
Okay. This
is good news, yes. Everybody is really putting forward an effort. And it's really shaping up to be a good experience.
Yeah, it's good. You should almost retitle it. TrackMagic Owners Group Barbecue Reunion.
That's up to the management. Barbecue. I'm just the ambassador.
You're doing a great job. I mean, it takes just that one person to get the ball rolling on something. And, I mean, all of us have busy lives. And sometimes we can't look past our nose and go, hey, this would be really cool. So, Bob, thank you for taking the initiative to do something like this.
Yes, sir. It's been a fun project, I'll tell you what. And it's been almost a couple years in the making. Particularly what really lit a fire under everybody was when Fausto Vitello got inducted to the SCUSA Hall of Fame. And it was pretty prompt when that happened in Vegas last year. And this is a way for us to keep celebrating that in particular. Also, I want to mention is the 20-year anniversary of Jason LaPointe's Pro Moto Championship, 1999.
Yeah, don't remind some of us.
Here we are.
20 years later. Wow.
20 years later. So this one, there's a lot of cool stuff in the brew. And this is just a big celebration to continue, particularly Fausto's induction into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, thank you again, because this is lighting a fire under more people than you probably realize.
I really hope so.
Yeah, it's a really neat event. It's a really good. It's refreshing to bring this back to karting.
Yes, and these are all the home teams, for NorCal karters in particular. These are your home teams.
Yeah, I mean, TrackMagic was manufactured in San Francisco.
Handmade,
yep.
I bought my Dragon in 2001, ordered it at the factory, had to wait 2 weeks to get it. Tom Dyer, took my order and my seat fitting. I went in with a blank check, and within 2 weeks I rolled out of there, and I was on the green flag within another had a little bit of a